Welcome to What's Cookin'.
I'm Deb,
And I'm Norma.
and today we're having a fun Halloween
Extravaganza.
Yes, we're so
Yeah.
excited. My favorite holiday, all time, hands down.
Absolutely, it's her favorite. You should see her house. It's
Yeah.
all decorated, ready to go.
You know what? From 0 to however old you are, you can enjoy Halloween. And we're going to show you some fun recipes that'll make it even more fun. First of our spooky Halloween series, we're making deviled spidered eggs. And it's always fun. Again, you don't have to do it for the kids. You could do it for you and have a fun Halloween party. First, you need to boil 6 deviled eggs. And I went ahead and I already boiled the eggs and then I put them in water. I'm just going to show you really quick. When you have hard-boiled eggs, it's best to boil them, let them cool, put them in an ice bath, or, like I did, make them the night before so they're ready to go. But the simple thing to break a deviled egg shell for your egg is to smash it, roll it all over. You hear it go crunch, crunch, crunch. And then the peel should come off pretty easily. See how easy this just is?
That came out really good.
Peeling off. So make sure you smash it and roll it really good. So you have a bowl here, and you're going to take each egg, and we're going to cut it lengthwise. So it means like from here to here, not in half. So you cut it in half, and I'm going to give Norma the job. Take a spoon, and you carefully scoop out the yolk, and put it in the dish. Now we've put the yolks in here, and to that we're going to add like I don't use a lot of salt on my things, so sort of like a pinch, just a little bit of salt for seasoning. About a teaspoon of Dijon mustard.
I like how you're doing it by sight.
Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less.
You know, because at the end of the day,
mustard.
you still have to taste it to make sure.
Right, exactly. A little bit of relish. Again, like a teaspoon or so.
Perfect.
And then the mayonnaise. Again, a couple teaspoons. About a teaspoon of really soft butter. It's not quite a full teaspoon. And that will make it even creamier.
Now that's different. I've never seen that before, adding butter.
Yeah, so it just adds it. And then you use a fork and you just smush it all together. And we're just going to fill the eggs, like so. I've already cut up some olives, but I'm going to show you how to make the spider. As you see the spider on there, it's got 8 legs. So we cut it in half and we put the top on. And see how this sort of curves there? I like to use that more for the head and put it at the thicker part of the egg. So it goes on right there. The next thing we do is we take the other half and we're going to cut it into 4 legs. So actually you'll need 2 olives per spider. And there's its creepy legs. There's 4 there. So you just kind of shove them in, and then we cut it again. Take another one, cut it in half, and then cut, cut, cut. And I've already cut up some, so we'll start decorating the other ones in a minute. And then you put that on there.
See, it's so simple.
It's simple, it's fun. You can do it with your friends. You can do it if you have small children. If you want to make like a mouth, whatever, you can use like a little bit of a red pepper to add some color. So you can chop it really small, like so. The other thing you can do is add some caviar. Who doesn't like eggs and caviar? And
now we're going fancy.
So you can put like little eyes. And then you put a little red mouth on there. And there's one. Be creative, have fun, and that's how you do it. So you see we finished these and they're really cute, they're really fun, and we ended up using capers. Turned out to be the best for the eyes. And see how much, they're just fun, easy to do. You can prepare this ahead of time, cover them up, and put them in the refrigerator till you're ready to serve that night.
So for our next segment, Deb, tell us what you're going to be making.
I'm making a guacamole Frankenstein. So I like to make my guacamole very simple, so I'm just going to scoop out the guacamole. And if you have a guacamole scooper, you can use that, and if you don't, then you don't. Take the shell out, or the seed out, and I'm using, for this particular recipe, 3 avocados. Next, I'm just going to add a little bit of seasoning, porterhouse seasoning, my next favorite thing, and probably about a teaspoon-ish. And if you want it saltier, you can make it saltier. So just mash it up like so. I'm gonna scoop this in. So you put it in a blob, like so. You just want to make it into a rectangle. As you see, if we look at it this way, this would sort of be his square face. Now Frankenstein has bolts coming out of the bottom, so all edible food. Now we have the eyes. So there's several things you can do. This is mozzarella. We're just gonna cut the big ball in quarters and put that in. We can even make it a little smaller.
Yeah, you can dice it up just a tad.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do with these?
So I'm going to make eyes. So it sort of goes like Frankenstein eyes.
There.
And then, if you want, if you don't want to use that, you can even use, and this will be delicious on your, for the eyes, to add to the eyes. You can use like a soft cream spread. This one has herbs in it, so it can make it even creepier with the other underneath, and everything tastes delicious. And then maybe again, it's just fun to do an olive for the center of the eyes.
Oh, it's coming together.
And so there you've got the eye. But then he also has, do I have the red peppers? Remember, thin strip. Or try to make a thin strip. Oh, he's got his little scar here. Make some maybe going down like little stitches across his lips. So you can use refried beans people have mashed up and sprayed on, but we can, I'm just gonna chop up an olive and kind of make this for his mouth. We're going to add little bolts at the end. So there you go. And then we do chips for his, gotta have guacamole and chips. So here is his hair.
Hair. Love it.
See how easy and how fun all this is? So you can make your guacamole face, have it on your tray, ready to go, and then when your guests come, quickly put out your veggies. Well, you can do the veggies and the guacamole, put that in the refrigerator. I would do the chips at the very last minute, because if you put them in the fridge, they're gonna go, ugh.
Yeah, if you're sticking the guacamole in the fridge, cover it with saran wrap, push it down hard so that there's no air that can get in it. Another trick is if you put a little bit of olive oil and then put the saran wrap, or a little bit of lime juice, depends on what you like. But again, all those things help prevent it from turning brown.
Right, but you need to be careful when you're making the face not to put all that stuff on there. So it's sort of more of a last minute thing. But if you make it in the morning, it should be fine by the evening.
Yeah.
And if it turns a little bit, it adds to the creepiness of it. So here you go, guacamole Frankenstein. So now, Norma, what are you gonna make for us?
Yes, what am I going to make? I'm going to make chorizo and pumpkin pasta.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So what is chorizo?
Well, let me explain. There's two kinds of chorizo. There's Mexican chorizo and there's Spanish chorizo. This is Mexican chorizo, and you know the difference. And this one happens to be soy. You can buy beef or pork, but this is soy, and guess what? It tastes just like beef. Now, the Spanish chorizo is hard and it's cured. Andouille sausage. This is chicken andouille sausage. You can use anything like this, but you can see it's hard. And so is the Spanish chorizo. But in this case, I thought it'd be kind of interesting. Let's go with the Mexican, and we'll try it and see what it does with the recipe. So this is going to need to brown for maybe 5 minutes. So we'll let that cook. In the meanwhile, we got the water going. So because it's already cooked, I want to take it out so it doesn't get mushy, but we need to preserve and save the pasta water. Now here's a trick, or a tip. Trick and a tip. If you want, I could have emptied the water into another bowl, keep the water going, and then if you want to reheat it, you stick it back into the pot with the hot water, and within 60 seconds your pasta's hot. But this is pretty hot right now, so I'm going to stick it in here because the pot is hot, and just let it sit there for a second. So let's go back over here to the chorizo. So now you can hear this is sizzling. I'm going to crank it up higher. This is a pretty fast dish. Typically it takes about 30 minutes, but if you get your water going right away in your pasta and do that first, this should take no more than 10 to 15 minutes. This looks like it's just about there. You don't have to worry, as I said earlier, if it's beef or pork, you have to thoroughly cook it because it's raw. This is soy, so you're not dealing with a raw meat. But because this is spicy, and probably spicier than Spanish, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some out. You can always add to something, but once you've built the profile, it's difficult. We're going to add 1 can of pumpkin, canned pumpkin. So here we go. Okay, so here we go. Here goes. Okay, 1 cup of cream, half and half. So to this now we're going to add some cheese. So you can add Manchego cheese or Monterey Jack.
Monterey Jack.
So we're doing Monterey Jack, 1 1/2, 1 3/4 cup. Again, the black sea salt. That looks like pepper.
But it's salt.
It is salt. No worries, no worries.
Spooky salt.
How simple was that?
It's so easy, and it looks delicious.
And this is vegetarian. There is no meat in here.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There's no meat.
Okay, now another fun dish, spooky spider bread. Really fun to make and pretty easy. You use a bigger pizza crust. You want to roll it so that it is flat, like this. And again, these do not have to be perfect in any way. But what you're going to do, I'm going to pull this a little bit. It got a little scrunched, which is fine. So, sort of like a rectangle. We're going to take half and cut it in half. And then we're going to take these two, so like this. So this is going to be the spider bodies, like so. So we're going to make a little ball. So make a little ball. Okay. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to cut this into we're gonna cut it like into a fourth here. And then we're gonna cut 4 things like this. And this is gonna be the spider head. So when you're done, you can put that into little balls. See how Norma leaves it? It's like, it doesn't have to be perfect because it really makes it fun when you're done. So then with these, you want to just stretch this just a tad because this is going to be the spider legs. So as you see, we're starting to build the spider body. So this is sort of squished together. So I'm going to do this again. So you make this one your longer one. Rolled it, no big deal. So there's the spider body, but we also need the spider head, which is,
oh, look at that.
See, it's all coming together. We're going to make the eyes. So pimentos make great eyes. And you just press it in. And I took the pimento olive, cut it in half, pop this in, pop this in. See how fun?
It's so fast.
Fast, fun, easy. So now what you do, and sometimes this pops off, so you just press it in really good, and then you use an egg, you beat it up really well, you use a pastry brush, and this is a wash. So you just go over it like that.
And what that does, it acts like a glue, and at the same time, keeping everything together, it's going to make it golden.
Yes. And then on top of this, we're going to add some cheese, make them hairy spiders. Okay, so your oven should be preheated at 350, and you're gonna bake them for about 20 minutes, depending on your oven. Some ovens cook quicker than others. You know what yours does. We're just gonna add cheese on top. So I'm taking it over here. There you go. And I'm gonna put it in. And here we go. And here they are, the spider bread.
Cute.
And see how fun, the balls aren't perfect, how it makes like different designs in it.
It looks yummy.
Yeah, and it's so tasty and good. And how fun. This is a super easy dish, and it's a spooky lasagna soup. So super easy, super fun. Let's get started.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use a little bit of the Antica, the Tuscan olive oil to add a little more flavor to what we're doing. So I'm just going to line the pan, turn it on, and Norma's going to bring over the onions. So now we're just going to stir this all around, coat the onions.
There's a couple more that escaped. Okay.
All right, let me into that bath.
Exactly.
So we're gonna let these cook down for just a few minutes. And then the next thing that we're going to add will be the beef. So this will be a few minutes to cook down, and probably about 2-3 minutes to really get soft, because you don't want this hard. And it will keep cooking, but you really want your onions to be softer, and you'll start smelling that delicious aroma. So this is the same thing that's in the casing without the casing, so it's less work. That's why I buy this. And you just plop it in, and then it will.
So essentially, this is the sweet version of what they call it.
Yeah.
And then they have, the other one is the hot.
Right. Okay, and then we'll stir this in. So you just keep cooking this down, and the meat browns. Sort of like the same thing that you're doing when you make a lasagna. But instead of putting it into a into a pan and cooking it, it'll cook in here, and then you add your cheeses, you layer them into a bowl, and then it's really good. And see how the meat is changing color? It's going from that red to the brown. This is the soup. I make my own soup, but you can buy already made soup. And again, this is lasagna soup.
So that's chicken broth. And to this we're going to add one large 28 ounce of crushed tomatoes.
And we're going to boil this up, and then we'll add more. We're going to add the tomato paste. And then the next thing, what I love about this dish, we're going to let it boil. And once it starts boiling, we're going to add the noodles. So now I'm going to add the fresh basil. Adds to the flavor. Just pop that in. And we're going to put in half a box. And if you can't figure out half a box, then
just
eyeball it or put it on into a measuring cup. That's it. Put the lid on and let it simmer for about 8 to 10 minutes. Okay, so what you do, like lasagna, you layer.
Okay.
So a little lasagna, a little
Parmesan.
Sprinkle a little in.
Oh yeah.
Ladle it on top. And then you add, now we're going to do a scoop of
Ricotta.
So that can be your eyeballs.
We're going to make pumpkin and walnut, or in this case, pecan bars.
Yum.
I hope so. Super simple. So we turn the oven on to 350 to preheat it. And we are going to mix flour. And to this, I've cut the recipe in half because this recipe, the original recipe, which will be posted, makes 24 bars, which is a lot of bars.
Yeah, we can't eat all those.
So anyhow, the original recipe calls for 1 3/4 cups. So I've cut that in half. So this is roughly a half a cup plus a 1/4 of a cup and 2 tablespoons. To this, we're going to add brown sugar. And this is 2 tablespoons and 2 teaspoons of brown sugar, packed, okay? And then we're going to add the same amount of sugar, 2 tablespoons, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 1 cube of butter.
And the thing about the butter, you want your butter to be really hard. So put it in the freezer after you've cubed it and let it get really cold.
Yeah, that is the key to all pastry, is cold butter. Okay, here we go. And okay, let me see. The idea is to get it crumbly.
Like little peas.
Oh, and there it is. It's there.
Perfect.
Wow! So now what we're going to do is we're going to stir in. We're going to put it back in here, right? And you can see all those good crumbs. This is a half a cup, but you can add chopped walnuts. In this case, it's pecans. I personally like pecans better because they're sweeter. I find
like pecans.
Walnuts are just a little bit more bitter. So I'm reserving some topping. So it's about a half a cup. So now I take this, pour it in there, and now I'm going to press it down. Okay? And as I said, this recipe has been cut in half. Right. Now, you don't put it in the oven like you're used to doing with most pastries. You know, you brown it.
Right.
No. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to now mix all the goody stuff. Pumpkin, 100% pureed pumpkin. So again, this is roughly about a half a can. We're going to add sweetened condensed milk, and we're adding about half a can. of that. Cinnamon. So this is a half a teaspoon. Okay.
What is this?
Allspice.
Okay.
I'll stick that in there.
So these are all like the flavor, and this is a little bit of salt.
Salt. Okay. And now we have an egg that needs to go in.
Ah,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
We've added the egg, everything else, and now we're going to mix it up. Okay, on top here. And then exactly, with the rubber spatula, we're pulling out all the good deliciousness. We're going to go ahead and stick this in the oven.
For how long?
So about 25 minutes.
Okay.
You'll check on it, and then it'll go another 25 minutes.
Okay.
So you just want to check and make sure it's cooking properly. Because again, everybody's oven is different. Oh, I forgot one thing.
The topping?
The topping. Let me pull this out.
And this is what makes cooking fun with us.
Oh, sure, we keep it real. Back into the oven.
And make sure your oven is hot before you put it in because it cooks better that way.
The bars have been cooking and they're ready to come out, so let's take a look and see what we've got. Ta-da!
So easy.
See how easy that is? Otherwise you have to.
Look how delicious this looks.
So,
Oh my goodness.
so let's see
Oh.
the pumpkin in it.
So delicious.
Ooh, here we go.
Mmm. Oh my god. Oh,
That's
really
good. No, it's good. Mmm.
You could, it was like pumpkin pie sort of.
Mm-hmm.
And you could put, this would be great for Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. You could
Anytime in
put
fall. And
you
put
could-
ice cream.
ice cream, whipped cream, no cream. It doesn't matter. It's really good.
Oh, it's delicious.
Drinkalicious, spookalicious. We're going to make a ghostini cocktail. Ooh, so we hope it comes out. We're making it for the first time with you all, but
And with our goblin goblets. So we dip in water to make the rim wet, and we dip in here.
this is crushed chocolate cookies,
Yummy.
otherwise known as Oreo.
This guy looks like he's got a crew cut.
And so to crush them, you can crush them with a rolling pin or put it in a food processor.
The little Cuisinart. It keeps on squeezing.
Yeah, whatever works. So we'll let it dry, then we'll put the gummies in just a second. So now we're going to actually make the cocktail.
Okay.
So Deb has here a bunch of cold ice. Okay, to this we're going to add pumpkin pie cream liqueur. We're going to add 3 ounces.
Okay, so I have to share this. My parents got this back in the day in Las Vegas. My favorite shaker. It says, say when, partner. And then it says 1 ounce for cowgirls, 2 ounces for cowboys, 3 ounces for desert rats, and 4 ounces for jackasses.
Love it. Love
That's
it.
my favorite.
So we're going to do 3 ounces. Now the recipe originally calls for pumpkin liqueur, but we couldn't find any, so I went ahead with this. And again, the original recipe called for pumpkin liqueur and Bailey's, but this ought to work just as good. So now we're going to add vanilla vodka.
How much?
Okay, so to this we're going to add 4 ounces.
Ooh, we're jackasses.
Holy moly! Up. Woohoo! All right. Now this is going to make 2 cocktails.
One big cocktail.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Okay.
have Uzi take this out.
Ooh, delish.
Okay, so right in the middle, so we don't get the Oreo cookies, which represents dirt.
These are pretty big glasses too.
Either that or we have to make more.
Yeah.
Double up the recipe.
Our gummy worms.
Our gummy worms. Okay. This
Perfect end or beginning to a fun meal. Always fun cooking with you. Always spookalicious.
Spookalicious. Ooh, let's see.
That's really good. It's really, you get the pumpkin, you get the Oreo, you
The
get
vodka, everything.
This is good.
I like the Oreo in it.
Yeah, it's good. Yum,
It's
yum.
very good.
Try it. Cheers to Halloween and to what's cooking. Join us for our next shows, upcoming shows, and sign up. When you see us online, just subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, and it really helps us.
It does.
So we'll see you then, and happy
Okay.
Halloween.